Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond a Reason video. Today we have a 4v4 from the recent Nation Wars qualifier. So let's look over the teams, shall we? We have Zhao playing Legion in a very northern position point for Team 1 of Team America. JTL in a central position here in green playing Armada. Bacon Dude as Cortex as purple, and then Rowan Morse also Cortex in the aqua color. Now you can see they've already got plans here for where they're heading. Interestingly enough, they've given Bacon Dude 6 metal extractors here rather than the start 3, meaning that Zhao and JTL are going to be severely lacking with metal extractors. Now, go look at the other team. Sivven in red. Highest OS on... No, not the highest OS. Lovish is the highest OS. Playing Armada, Sivven is. Lovefish going for no metal extractor at all here. Just straight out of the lab. You can actually see, surprisingly here, that these 3 players here have not built a factory with the exception of Love. So Sivven and Saragarius is pushing out. It seems like they're both pushing out the overcharged metal extractors. Now this is an interesting choice because obviously this requires a lot of energy to run. We can see that both players got 8 windmills there, producing a decent chunk of energy and going pretty much straight into these overcharged metal extractors. Lovefish with 0 mexes right now, receiving all the metal it seems. Sivven going straight into the overcharged metal extractors as well. Now these give a decent chunk. You can see they give 5 metal straight off the bat. So skipping that like early phase, these metal extractors. Now meanwhile down here, Akumar doing the same thing, going straight into these overcharged metal extractors. He did have the basic ones to begin with, but normally when you see Legion, you see this kind of happening a lot later into the game. Now what this does mean is that when we look at army value here, you can see there's 1,000 metals worth of army value for, well, we're just going to call it Team Zhao. Team Zhao here as opposed to Team Sivven. So it does look like Sivven's team might have bit off a little bit more than they can chew. There's a good group of units here in the middle, but it is early days yet. A well-placed LLT will be able to do quite some work against that. Now, are they aware that there's a factory there? Not yet, but that is where Rowan is planning to go. Now they know there's a player up in this top corner, which makes sense. But currently Team 7 is ahead when it comes to metal produced, even though they have less here. Well, not metal produced, metal a second income. But it doesn't really mean much if you start losing all your metal extractors because you don't have any units. A very, very, very greedy start. Like, this is beyond greed. And yet, it seems to be somewhat working. And we're seeing a 4-minute transition over to Tech 2 here. They're getting surrounded on all sides, and yet they're going straight into Tech 2. Very dangerous.
Has self-destructed.
So they're not going to get overwhelmed here. Rezzing, well, eating up the comm, but that was really bad timing as these pawns and grunts managed to make their way through. And luckily enough get eaten. Now, I'm pretty sure Team Zhao would have seen that. Yes. Okay, so they know Tech 2 is up for the blue, for the red team, the warm team. Akumar in a bit of a dangerous position here, though, because Saragas has not been able to hold his line here. And now Akumar is in a very, very tough spot, and he's pretty much about to get his base wiped. Yeah, I don't see Akumar really able to hold this. Tech 2 is way too far away. Not only that, but Baker Dude's comm is also making his way down there. Desperately trying to hold on to this base. And surprisingly, Akumar does manage to hold out for now. How long for? That's a completely other question. But for now, he survives. So, going a very forward Tech 2 Legion vehicle factory on this front line here. Planning to get those Tech 2 units to the front as quick as possible. And we, unfortunately, just missed the explosion of Bacon. Misplacing his comm, and if Akumar is able to get that metal, then that could be big. With JTL and other players having mostly pawns and grunts, these hoplites doing great work. Dargas in a bit of a tough spot here if he gets continuously chased down, but he's not. And not enough Tech 2 to really make any form of move at all, really. Sivven does manage to get some through, and it seems like JTL doesn't really have the energy here to fire these Centurions properly. Oh, and this one guy managing to get in, inflicting a lot of damage. Zhao with no units nearby, and all of these wins just get absolutely destroyed. Surprisingly not going for the build power, though, letting these guys survive. But Zhao is going to be really hurting, having lost all of that wind production. Ooh, just moves out of range. Very good micro there from Saragas, and that is pretty much all of the wind production of Zhao. Just destroyed, leaving only a single windmill left. And that has basically shut down Zhao. Surprisingly, at the moment, he still has energy for these Prometheuses, purely from taking it from his teammates, but his teammates need to be careful that they don't use it themselves. Akumar now finally gifted some Tech 2 of his own. Managed to eat that Comrec, but I'm surprised we're not seeing Rowan kind of move down here to hit the base of Akumar, instead settling into a position here, leaving his flank somewhat exposed. And so many trees makes it somewhat difficult to see the units. Malzoth is the only one really holding on this north side, but only for a matter of time, as he's starting to get flanked from behind now. As long as he has energy to keep firing those Prometheuses, though, it will do the job. And they do need to be careful. Enough of these Prometheus is going to cause problems. Gas walking cloaked towards Zhao's base. If he gets a D-gun on the factory, it's going to be pretty tough. But plenty of vision. Team Zhao is pretty much shut that idea down. I have no idea how to pronounce the name of this unit. Arbicus? Arcubus? I guess? Arcubus? Railgun spiders. The railgun spiders doing a decent job. And we see straight away Zhao now with little to no energy, desperately asking for energy to be sent from his team. And it does seem that his teammates have just gifted him a bunch of windmills here in order to keep him up. Rowan basically playing eco. Bacon Dude is out of the match here with no units, no nothing at all. He has just this and that. Should probably just gift those to his teammates, but I'm guessing he's just overflowing, so doesn't really mean much. Akumar building up a bunch of suiciders. He already has enough here with 17 to one-hit a commander. Question is, where is he going with them? Might want to go down here, or he might be going up here to Zhao. Zhao loses that Tech 2 factory. That is going to be difficult for him to be able to hold that position. And it does seem like that's the case. And here they come. Zhao with 0 air defense. Oh, he has a little bit of air defense. And there goes the Tech 2 factory. Zhao now holding the front furthest away from his teammates with no production capability whatsoever. He does still have the cons. He can rebuild, but it's going to be difficult for him. Kind of feel like Zhao only just realized what happened back here. So, well done to Sivven and his team. They have done a very tremendous job at just completely blocking Zhao down. Was not enough early pressure from the blue team, and they just kind of let red team get away with it. And we're seeing some air transports there as well. Planix is going down, artillery is going down. Zhao's doing everything he can to try and hold this position desperately as long as he can. But with only 4 metal extractors and some wind, there's only going to be so much he can do. Did get a missile truck built before he died though, which is quite useful. Everything is being tried to be given to Zhao here, their best player, to try and keep him in that game. But realistically, the red team are able to apply all of the pressure they want here, because no pressure is being applied elsewhere. And here come more suicide bombers, 14, and it looks like they're going straight for that advanced geothermal. Now, no big splash because it didn't get built in time, but still, that was gifted to Zhao, hoping that Zhao would have more eco, but nothing yet. Rowan really needs to make a push here. Rowan's been building up forces for a while, but not really contributing much at all. JTL also kind of doing the same here. Not really contributing much. He's stopping a push straight through the middle now, but a little too late. And the Tech 2 air transport, which are also technically a gunship, now being used as well. They're surprisingly tanky. Don't really seem to be able to do too much. They do seem to like 2-hit build power, which is not bad. Not getting any of the energy converters though, which is a surprising choice. There is what, 17 metal a second there, over 1 Tech 2 metal extractor. That's like takes like 2 hits or a hit. Get rid of all of that. Same thing now taking place on JTL's small base, and JTL's base will not be able to hold up to that whatsoever.
Commander died.
Now finally losing his comm. No, sorry, JTL losing his comm. And this is all falling apart for Team Zhao, Team Blue. Gunships are doing surprisingly well. Well, air transport, sorry, are doing surprisingly well. I mean, realistically, they don't hold up to any form of AA, but they're air transports. They're not supposed to. Now doing his best to desperately hold on. Has a mixture of Prometheus and single Medusa here, but Medusa's not in a right angle to fire. But Zhao can hold on all he likes up there, because Sivven has just pushed right through the middle and is making his way to JTL, well, what's left of JTL and Rowan. And once the team of 7 has pretty much everything of the map, then it doesn't matter. Tyrannus is now appearing as well. Now just trying to do everything he can to hold the line. But able to outrange the air defense. Needing that railgun, which now Zhao is desperately trying to build. But we can see here in the base that units are just getting through left and right. Heavy air transport still managing to get a decent way in. And JTL losing more and more units. JTL's been given all of the army that Zhao had, but these Prometheuses need energy to fire, and they're not going to have any. As mosquitoes make their way in, this is well enough to snipe a commander. Surprisingly, he's not going for it. Rowan's just positioned along the bottom here, not really doing anything still. Rowan desperately trying to, well, give his teammates stuff. But because he's doing all that, he's not pushing up himself and playing into Sivven's team's hands, really. They're quite happy to just sit back. They're actually producing this whole time, all of this, off of two Tech 2 factories. And they're just lavicious. None of this production is coming from Stud or Sivven himself. All of the Tech 2 is just being produced purely by Lavish. And now we see Zhao's base starting to get surrounded here. All of these scouts and Tech 2 assault vehicles are able to just get in and inflict damage. Will they get the fusion though? That's the question. They do get the railgun, but not the fusion. Oh, but the friendly fire manages to take out the metal extractor. Feel sorry for Zhao. In a terrible position to be in here. Tyrannus is just able to overwhelm him now. With not good AA, he's going to be able to walk in and just start hitting that fusion. Little Zhao can do about it. Tech 2 Air has been attempted by Zhao, but will get taken out before anything gets close. Zhao just trying to be a bastion of hope for the blue team, holding on for so long on this front line, but realistically not really going to be able to do much here, as Zhao's commander actually starts to take a lot of damage just from these wheelies being microed. Zhao's commander down to 55% health. And now with incinerators making their way in, the Prometheuses take lots and lots of damage. Zhao's commander down to 27%. And the Bastion of Hope of Zhao seem to be not much longer for this world. Tyrannus just kind of skirting the edge here. Set target has been done on Zhao. The intention to try and get his commander down. 6%, 3%. Zhao's commander gone. And with that goes all of the AA. And All hope of holding that front line now completely gone. JTL tries to ruck up after the fact, but Dow now with nothing left whatsoever. Finally, we see Rowan try and make a move here, and you could just see how effective this would have been earlier. Look how much damage these fiends are inflicting. If only they would have made a move sooner, maybe this would have been a different story, but Team Blue here losing 2 players, leaving only JTL and Rowan, but realistically JTL's pretty much out of it as well, being just Rowan now. Zhao's been gifted units in an attempt to keep him in the game, but I don't know, I don't really see much coming out of Team Blue here. Just not enough. Sivven's now basically free to just walk his way around the top of the map and start making his way down. And you can actually see they've actually drawn that orange line down this way, then this way, and that is exactly where Sivven is going. Excuse me. I mean, just look at army value. Now that we've got a second, let's look at the stats. Metal a second, literally well over double. Metal produced is somewhat close. I'll say somewhat. Still 60k difference between the 2 players. Metal excess has been good, but army value, a humongous difference of army value. 221% difference in army value. That's the sort of number you don't come back from without some Hail Mary play to win the game. And it doesn't look like Rowan has that. He's building mammoths in an attempt to try to kill the forces that are on their way in. But that will not win the game. It's just going to stalemate the game. He needs a winning play. And it just looks like he doesn't have that. Whereas the red team have a play. And it is almost done. As we watch the seconds count by, we'll keep an eye on this stockpile, but Rowan is not much longer for this world. We can see actually the red team here keeping their units kind of at bay. Saragas kind of ignoring the plan, it seems. And the nuke is away. And with it, before it even lands, Zhao has called the GG. Rowan's entire base destroyed. And with that, Rowan calls the GG as well. And very good game. Interesting plan. We can see that I wish this was kind of combined for just being team. Dope. But when we look at metal produced, you can see that it was pretty even early on, but Lovefish just skyrocketed with that very early Tech 2. You can see around here was when Tech 2 was done, around the 6 minutes mark. And then that metal just skyrocketed with the Tech 2 metal extractors. And the other team never really got that off the ground. It was a risky play, but it worked out for them in the end. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.